Junkyard Junkie back here with another video. Today we're going to be working on this 2004 Toyota Camry. I'll be showing you how to check and replace the tie rods. So let's get started. Okay, so right underneath the front of the car, you'll see a little hump right in the middle. That's a good jack spot to jack up the whole front end. Okay, next we're going to grab some jack stands. Okay, now that you got the jack stands on both sides, we're just going to lay it down. Once it hits both, just jack it back up to where it's touching. Okay, so the first step is to get it at the 3 and 9 o'clock position and shake it back and forth. There shouldn't be really any play. And you can hear that clunk. Okay, so now we're going to go a little bit further and actually take the hubcap and wheel off. Take the hubcap off, just get a screwdriver or a pry bar. Just get in there and pry it. Okay, these are 21 millimeter. You can use a standard 4-way lug wrench. I'm going to use the impact. Okay, so this is your outer tie rod. Right in this boot is your inner tie rod. What it does, the whole purpose of it is to turn your wheel left and right. And if it goes bad, it can fail and have one wheel actually like completely to the right and the other one straight, which then you're going to have to get it towed at that point. So we want to fix it before then. Usually it'll give you symptoms before then to let you know. So on a good outer tie rod, you shouldn't be able to turn this by your hand. Or if you can, it should be so minuscule. But right here, I can easily turn that. I mean, I can do it with 2 fingers. That's horrible. But let me give you a demonstration of actually it working. So let me get in the car and I'm going to turn the wheel so you can see it. Another thing you can do is look at the boot itself, and you can see this one's cracked, and I'll let grit get in there and just destroy it. As you can see, there's the grease coming out of it. So this one definitely needs to be replaced. If there's any rips in it, it's time to replace it. If it can be moved real easy, it's time to replace it. That's for your outer. Okay, as you can see, there's a castle nut, that's a 17 millimeter, and then you got this Carter pin. We're going to bend that up and we're going to push it through. I'll show you an easy way to do that. Okay, so you want to take some cutting dikes like this. And you're not going to cut it off, but first you're going to get this. You can even straighten it out with this. And just tap it through. Once you're on the other side, you're just going to grab it, don't cut it, and just wiggle it out. Just like that. Now that you got the cotter pin out, you get a 17mm socket, and we're going to pull this castle nut off. Okay, now there's two things you can do to actually pop this out if it doesn't come out easy. Most of them will give you a little bit of trouble. One, you can take this castle nut and then take this castle nut just like that, so it came off with the teeth down, or the castle's down, whatever you want to say. Turn it around and screw it back on there. What you do is you screw it to its flush. Once it gets flush, you're going to hit it with or almost flush. You want it to be just past it. And then you'll hit it with a hammer. That'll break it free, and then you can just take it out that way. But what I do is I take a 3-pound sledgehammer and just hit right here. If you hit this like a couple good whacks, it'll knock it free for sure. There is one other thing you can do is get a pickle fork in there if you know you're not going to reuse this, but for people that are going to reuse this and just do their inner, I'm trying to show you a way to do it without damaging the boot. But if you use a pickle fork, it'll come right out too, but it'll destroy the boot. So we're just going to give it a few whacks. It's loose. As you can see, comes right up. Okay, so to check your inner tie rod, you just want to grab it and go back and forth with it. If there's play, which there definitely is, you can hear it, you can see it, and as I pull this out, you can actually. If you can do that, it's definitely bad. Time to replace it. Okay, on these outer tie rods, all you're going to do is grab this flat with a wrench and this bolt, or this little nut, and you're going to break them free. They can be stuck. If they are, use MAP gas, and on this bolt, they'll expand the bolt to make it come loose easier. So this is a 19mm, and then this little flat here is also a 19mm. But what you can do, what I'm going to do, is take a adjustable, put it on there, okay, now you're going to go down with the adjustable and to the right with the box end wrench. And this one's stuck on there pretty good, so I'm going to do exactly like I said and heat it up with gas. Okay, we're going to heat it up with gas. so what I do at this point is I try to get them back to where they were. So just like that. And now we're going to take a little marker and mark the back side of this. And we're also going to count how many spins it takes to take this off, because you will still need alignment because it's fractions of an inch. Like measurements, they got to be very precise, or else you'll have uneven wear and it's just not good. So after you do any kind of job like this, you want to get your front end aligned. Okay, so what we're going to do is mark it right behind this nut. Okay, so now then we're going to take this off. Okay, to help us stay in line, we got the mark, and we're also going to, if you're just replacing the outer tie rod, all you'd have to do is count the spins, and you'll do the exact same putting it back on. That way your alignment's still somewhat intact, but you still need to get it aligned. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so right at about 20 is where it was at. So at this point, if your outer tie rod's the only issue here, what you're going to do is you're going to take your new one, you're going to start it. Now I start it about halfway so it actually catches by about there, and then I spin it the 20 times. And then once I do that, I lock it back in. So, you know, just twist this to the right and that to the left. Once it's all the way up, it's locked into place. And then stick it back in, put your castle nut on, put your carter pin back in, and after that, go get it aligned. Okay, so here's your old tie rod. Here's your new one. This is for the other side. I got the other one. I just pulled one out just to show you. But as you can see, I can sit here and roll this around, left, right, up, down. That's not good. This one's, I can't even move it. So that's good. It shouldn't move. Okay, first thing you want to do is there's a clamp on the front of the boot. You're going to get some pliers. Just going to take that right off. Okay, so here's the back side of that boot. Scrape away all that junk. You'll see there is a little clamp there holding it on. You gotta remove that clamp. Okay, this is gonna be really hard to see, but I'm gonna try to show you. If you go around the back side of the boot, you'll eventually find where it was crimped, and this one was crimped right there. See that part sticking up? So we're going to take a flat blade screwdriver, just turn the screwdriver once you get it in there. We almost got it loose. There we go. This will come off. Normally this would be one big boot, but it is ripped, so we're going to take this nut off. So the whole boot should come off, but as you can see, this one was damaged, which probably led to the premature failure. Go ahead and pull the back side of the boot off. Here's this little crimp style. So what you'll do is you'll stick your flat blade in there and twist it. Now come loose. That way if you want to reuse your boot you can, but most kits come with a new boot anyways. There's the end of that boot. Okay guys, it's hard to find a good place to record. But here's your inner tie rod. And this is the flats to take it off. But this style has a washer that bends over, so we gotta bend those back. Some have a little bolt that goes through it. There's different ways for them to be held in there. Usually they're held in there by something other than thread lock, so just be aware of that. Okay, so I'm going to use a long screwdriver and a hammer. I also want to get the other side too. Make sure I got all that. So now we'll get the other side. Okay, now that you got both sides out, we're going to get our tool. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be using. OEM Tools inner tie rod kit. This is just like the Mac Tools kit. Does the same thing, it locks in everything else, so we'll line that up. And now we just find the fitting we need. You can rent a tool that will take it off at your local parts store, Advance Auto. Okay, so this is our new tie rod. And as you can see, I can't move it, and once I get the other one out, I'll show you. What you do here is, you'll see these little flats right here. And just put that over it. Take your tool, slide it down, but essentially you put it in the tool and you lock it in. So locks in, then you can get a 1/2 inch drive on there breaker bar. So we'll take our adapter. Put on the flats, take our tool, lock it in place, and now we can get ourselves a breaker bar on there. You don't want to use impacts on this, it's not recommended for that, it's not made for that. So use a breaker bar, it comes out plenty far enough. Okay, so just take your breaker bar. There you go, once it breaks loose, it should be good to go. Here's the other tie rod. And the new tie rod. Okay, so here's the new one, here's the old one. As you can see, they are identical. You can see our mark right there. Zoom in. Okay, if you look right here, there's our yellow mark. That's where it's clean, is where the nut was. So we're just gonna make that about even to keep our alignment as close as possible so we can drive to an alignment shop. So alright, now we're going to put this new one back in. Okay guys, so right here we're going to put thread locker on there, removable, the blue kind. So you just take this, put a little bit on there, we're going to put it in there. I like to use the removable. Just get it started, don't cross thread it. Okay, now we're going to use our tool again to get back on it. Okay, we'll be attaching our tool back to it and then putting this on there. And then we're going to use a torque wrench for 2004 to 2008, I believe. That gets torqued down between 36 and 55, so we're going to put it to 50. If you've never used a torque wrench before, as you can see, it's got all your measurements right here. There's a lock nut, just unscrew that. So there's 20, because it's stored at 10, 30, 40, and then 50. And you see there, it lines up with the 50 over there. And just tighten your nut back down. Okay, so we'll slide our tool back on there. Make sure not to push it off. Lock it into place. Now we'll get our torque wrench on there. You want to do slow, precise movements with your torque wrench. There we go, 50 foot-pounds. Okay, so you have to keep this nut off when you put the boot on. So I actually had to take this back out, so learn from my mistakes. And I was supposed to mark this whenever I laid them side by side, so when you get it, the nut where it's supposed to be, mark it, take the nut back off, do everything you've seen up till now, and then put the boot on, and then put the nut back on. So when you slide it on and you get it far enough, you'll hear it pop. Just like that. Get that back one on there. So this is what's supposed to come with the boot. You sit there and put it around the boot and crimp it, and that'll keep it locked in place. But my set came with a zip ties, so we're going to use zip ties. But I'm actually going to use this, but it's okay to use zip ties. The boot should not be moving that much anyways. Okay, now that you got that on there, we're going to take our little clamp and put it right back on the front side of this. Okay, we'll go ahead and put our new nut on. Remember, we marked it when we lined them up together. Okay, so this is my favorite way to line it up, even better than the marker. But so I'm gonna start it a little bit off like this, so I can grab threads. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. As if you can see, our bolts right there at it, so we'll just tighten those up. Okay, get your 19mm. This might be a different size, and it is. Okay, but that's still a 19, so we use the adjustable there. So all we're going to do from here is, our new bolt is a bigger size, so we use the adjustable on it. This is still a 19 on the flat, so we'll get that there, and we're going to turn right with that and left with this bolt. Just want to make sure you get it good and tight. So now we just want to angle this for the tie rod to go back in. I have to pull it out a little bit. Should fit right back in there. Just like that. Okay, you want to put your castle nut on there. This new one is actually an 18mm. We're going to torque it between 35 and 45. So I'm going to do 37. Remember, I'll be slow and precise. Not even tight yet. Okay. Now we're going to put our grease fitting right there. Okay, so here's the grease fitting. In my experience, they're usually 7mm, but you know, always double check. You don't want to go crazy on the torque. You just want to get it snug. This will help. Every time you do an oil change, you can squirt a little bit of grease in there, and that will help push out all the old stuff. Okay, now that you got it tight, once again, it don't take much. As soon as you feel that thing start to tighten, stop. Okay, so now that you got your castle nut torque down, you want to take the new Carter pin that they gave you and those little snips or die cutters, whatever you want to call them, dikes. What you're going to do is you're going to push it straight through. You don't even really need to. You can just do it with your finger. Just wrap it right around this castle nut. That way it's not going anywhere. Okay, now we're just going to put the tire back on. Got that one stuck in there. Now that you got all these snug, what you want to do is lower it to the ground, which I'm about to do, and then just take a 4-way and tighten them in a crisscross pattern. Okay, now we're just going to put the hubcap on. That's as easy as just finding where the valve stem goes. As you can see, it's got a little notch for it. And then line it up with that. There you go. Okay, so this is afterwards. I'm going to put my hand on the 3 and 9 o'clock position. And as you can see, there's no play, so this is good to go. No clunking or anything. Alright, we're going to jack it up and take the jack stands out. Okay guys, so all there is left to do is take it to the alignment shop, let them align it for you. The way we did it, you should be able to get there just fine. Okay guys, so just a little bit of advice. Go ahead and buy both sides, because online you can get both sides for about an extra $20, give or take. And if you do it that way, if you only change one side and you got the alignment done after this, which is going to cost you about 80, 90 bucks, somewhere in there, then the other side goes bad, you gotta replace it, and then you gotta get it realigned again. So if you go ahead and buy both sides now, replace both sides, then it's going to be a lot better for you in the long run, especially when it's only $10 or $20 extra. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.